diving bid. This is an exceptional grab. Oh my goodness.
It is quarter-finals time here at the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships 2025 edition Division 1. A fantastic afternoon here from Beenleigh in Queensland, brought to you by the City of Logan alongside the Australian Flying Disc Association. This live stream from Ulti TV. This is Avril Tam joined by Daniel Clinton. A juicy quarter-final matchup here between Manley and Umami.
So the championship brackets on the screen at the moment. We are going to be watching Umami and Manley. They came through second and third in their respective pools. On the other side of the draw, it's Piewagon and Half Moon in the same matchup. Meanwhile, Wollongong Crank took top seeding out of Pool B. They have pulled Chili Chimichangas, and that will be a tough match for them. And the tough match on the other side is Southern Skies. They went top of the pool in Pool A, and it's the Brisbaneites who ended up falling short against Piewagon in the last game that we just saw on screen. So they've got a tough ask as well. Everyone has a chance, though, as now it's knockout play. Win or go home.
That's right.
So to speak.
No second chances at all. You win, you go through. You lose, you're relegated down to the bottom bracket here. So it's all to play for. Umami and Manley, we've seen them both on the stream earlier parts of the tournament, both looking very slick, although I must say I think Manley's probably the slight favourite here, Daniel.
I think so. Manley, they had a great lead up. They went down only just against a few teams, so they've got a lot to play for, and a young team full of energy, full of run. I think their loss, especially in the last time bracket against Southern Skies, was a bit harsh. They lost 15-13 in that match after a bit of a run at the last couple of points. It was 13-all, and then it all came apart for them.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad thing to have some tight matches. As we see the standings from Pool A here, Southern Skies winning out 3-0. They got that last win, 15-13 on top of Manley. But, you know, Manley have had really close games all through pool play. They got over the top of Half Moon on Universe Point 15-14, and then they won against Chile 15-13. So the fact that they've had tight matches, I think it's a good thing they've been match hardened. They're used to being kind of under pressure and really pushing against some competitive teams.
They're going to have to find it coming up against harder teams as they move deeper into the bracket. If they win here, it's only going to get harder. So you may as well get the practice in when you can, because now it all counts, and you don't, you're not going to get a second swing at it. So your opportunity, and I think that also can work for you as well, understanding that the other team can have a bad day too. So if they have a bad day, or a bad game, shall we say, then take advantage of it. Get yourself through, get you into a deeper semi-finals, or maybe even the finals, with a run of luck and a bit of belief.
Yeah, Umami, they also had a tight matchup in their side of the pool. They lost on Universe 14-15 against Piewagon, and then 11-15 against Wollongong, but a win over the Brisbaneites 15-9. So their margins in their games a little wider. But the first pool goes out of bounds. Trying to decide who's going to pick it up. And Noah Moss, the captain coach of the Manley side, to bring it in to get things underway.
Moss is going to be a huge part of this Manley team and their potential success. So Alex Sanger pulling the match up for Umami.
So force flick, a horizontal set to start. Nice movement up to Chen. Fakes a couple of times, but Ott's behind for Lee. Across to Richards. They're getting pushed back a little bit here. Ramsden with the disc. Looking around. Stall count rising, just a little dump to reset. And a big shot goes up from Richards. Searching for the receiver in Bell. Perfect ring-a-ding-ding there for the opening account to Manley.
It's a big throw. I'm not sure it was completely on. It's worked out at the end of the day. Umami had fought them to a standstill. The defense was really, really good, and at the end of the day, Rich is just putting up a bomb of a forehand to get them out of jail there. Sasha Bell on the deep cut.
Yeah, the wind kind of taking it a little bit further and more to the left than earlier in the day. Breeze providing a little bit of relief from the stifling heat here.
Seen so many of these throws get turned over when the offense kind of runs out of momentum. The deep shot trying to bail out the offense. This time, Bell had made a great cut. We move to the Manley mixed team list. We mentioned the important man, Noah Moss, already. Dean Milne was another really important player in the stream that we watched the other day. And then Kayla Chen on the female matching side, as well as Nat Otten, two key players in previous games. So up to them now.
Oh, that pull by Dean Milne causing that turnover, and Manley with a juicy opportunity to convert. Dump backwards. And still retreat. Too many cuts all coming at once, but in the end, that flood play works called not in. Joey Ho. Milne gets free, but Milne drops the disc as well.
Nervy old start.
Goodness me. That was a let off for Umami. They say, oh, and an immediate turnover. Nat Otten slaps the disc away. She wants the double happiness. She gets the double happiness.
And Nat Otten just having an impact early. I don't know what happened there. It seemed like the disc got thrown straight to her. I mean, you take the gifts when they come, right? The reset, Otten ready for it. One step, boom. Okay.
I mean, the throw was probably not quite to the space you want it, a little bit behind your dump, just so they can turn and swing onto it. But I think in the end, bit of a mix of execution, but good heads-up awareness by Nat Otten. It's a bit surprising she slapped it with two hands rather than catches the disc, but either way, score's a score.
Well, a veteran like Nat Otten, you're not going to get a freebie from her. Not like that anyway. She's such a professional, always ready to play.
And let's talk about that pull from Milne.
Put some pressure on and it was dropped cold. Bit rough on the stream. You'll learn from that.
So this pull well received by Umami. They work a 1-2 up through the handlers, and now the matchups stick on. Not many meters gained. Joyce coming into fill. All options covered. You can hear very vocal sideline here, sniffing a defensive opportunity. So Umami having to work hard. They finally get an inside break and continue over to the fat side. Joyce sneaks an inside through. They move it up. Center the disc. And now they have some nice continuation flow on the open side. And Umami slot one in for their first point in this game.
It's good for Umami. They had to puzzle that one out as Manley brought a defense that was very intense. There wasn't a lot of separation, and especially there was a couple of high stall situations where it required a reset. They managed to work it out. And in the end, a relatively regulation score.
Yeah, they did well to get it to the break side through the use of a couple of inside breaks and then around continuations. Then they had a very fat open side here. Plenty of paddock, just beats his player to the cone. And the timing of those cuts working nicely when they do manage to have some open side channel to work with.
Umami team based out of Canberra.
And the Canberrans, Umami here. We've got them led by Lila Apple and Andrew Catchpole. Couple of features in the earlier game slots. Bronte Sleeth was big, as was Joyce. Byron, a big factor in their game so far as well. And that pull goes out. It will be a brick. So Richards bringing it up. Supported by 2 handlers back in a horizontal setup field. An isolated player looked off.
Strange downfield setup. This is what's needed. Moss needs to get involved here because at the moment, downfield is a bit of a mess.
Yeah, Lee just gets a little pass to keep things moving. Moss motors upfield, but she goes on the inside, pops up. Oh, and the scraps picked up. Good concentration by Ramsden to keep her eyes on the disc. Manley just looking a little slow and disorganised at the moment. It's not really clear who's attacking, but Richards is bad in the backspace. He goes a big option. Why not? Moss has steps on the defender. Manley up with an early lead, 3-1.
Manley have found a thrower in Jordan Richards already. 2 big hucks, this time downwind. Didn't need to put quite as much on it. No, Moss with steps. And Moss, I think, mature head on young shoulders, understanding that they didn't need help so much in the handler space at the moment. It was more downfield. Moss goes, creating the option that Manley so badly needed to get their offense moving.
Honestly, sometimes just cutting deep from more the handler set takes your defender by surprise. He had very nice separation, just trusting Richards to put that up. Not an easy shot when you've got this kind of slight crosswind, I would say, Daniel. Right, left
swirling,
to
that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's predominantly left to right, but there is a bit of a crossfield element to it. Like you've noticed, it's creating a bit of shape on the throws, which is going to make things interesting. Earlier today, and indeed earlier yesterday, calm conditions, pretty much anything you want you could have. Now, the throwing options are going to be more limited.
Umami's option looked off. Travel called. They get things moving through the open side. Hodson goes across field. Visionary throw. Very smooth offense from Umami.
Hodson, he just sees Nat Otten go to the open side, trying to poach on, create some pressure. However, the person that she was leaving is Kate Bailey, and Kate Bailey is a very big threat. She's been quiet yesterday and today, but I think out of everyone out there, Kate Bailey, one of the greatest in terms of identifying an opportunity to score. She's prolific with factory and gets on the board now.
And Umami. Hodson very brave to put that one up over the stack. But as you said, Otten had pinched in to try and cover the open side, thinking that that break side space was not an attacking opportunity. It's well done, Hodson, for spying that one up and executing well.
After an early break to Manley mixed, we're now on serve. Since then,
Umami goes up. Floaty pull. Lee waits under it. Centers to Moss. Again, horizontal set to start play. Gets it to Morrissey, who shoots for Ramsden. Perfectly timed, long cut. Ramsden involved early in all their offensive points.
Well, that was quick. Morrissey, after he spent a lot of time down the field yesterday, and we saw him make a huge defensive play this time, showing the throwing chops. Laces out on Ramsden, who was streaming deep. The wind apparently not a factor. To be expected at Div 1, where the caliber of throwing is very, very high. Now, as part of the hot weather today, we've got a heat policy in effect where there'll be some extra breaks, just some short timeouts, give the teams an opportunity to retreat to the shade, get some water on board. So that's what's happening now between these points. Replay.
Yep, they'll get an extra 75 seconds here to manage the heat. That's a beautiful lefty flick there by Morrissey, and Rams and the timing of her cut there to perfection. They've had help defense to try and get in the way, but doesn't come up trumps, so Rams and Rams at home.
And interesting, the dynamic of a forehand as opposed to a backhand. Forehand tends to come out a little bit faster, fly a little bit faster, and going downwind, the risk of overthrowing the receiver there was significant. But Morrissey controlled it well. As you see, when he catches this frisbee, it takes him a moment just to kind of sum things up, and then he makes the throw.
Yeah, so Manley's long game paying dividends at the moment, and most of the time they're set up in a horizontal set, which opens up both the under and the deep. They've spaced the downfield players well to make sure that both options are available to attack. So we see some highlights from the early part of the game. Manley feels like they're a bit further ahead than one break up at the moment.
In an offensive showcase at the moment. The team's able to connect on some good-looking deep throws.
So Milne again with the pulling duties. Sure, be hoping can replicate a similar one to point number 2. So far, mostly a match defense look, despite the wind. And there's an offside called here, so a bit of a let-off to take it from the brick mark.
Long tournament. Humid today, so the energy levels will be getting sapped. Small things like that. It's the difference between having to play it from the middle of your own end zone as opposed to 20-odd yards up the field on the middle. Umami go to work.
Moves it up to 1. There's an upline cut, but Dave Andrews does Dave Andrews things. Intercept there for Manley. Richards with the disc on the closed sideline. Milne back in support. Open side cut looked off. Well done to slide to the ground. Makes it work. Andrews coming under. Oh, and that was a no-look D. The execution not what Andrews wanted. So Umami get another bite. Bethune. It's a big mark applied there. Oh, and they go a fat side. Oh, almost scooped up off the deck. It's a highish sawcat. I have to say, the mark of Johan Xiao deterring the first maybe 3 or 4 looks. Just sticks out the foot enough to put Bethune off.
Bethune's throw, he's gone outside in on the forehand side, so the wind has just pushed it down. He needed to give it a little bit more loft, give Hodgson more of a chance to go and get it. Rather, Justin Byron, sorry.
To bring it up, set up a vertical stack this time. They immediately look for the inside flick to Otten. Otten goes to Andrews. It's a nice leading pass as the rest of his teammates run through. Andrews, and there is a call. So disc will stay with Andrews. Red zone here. With the disc, lots of fakes. It's a close one there, but Richards to Andrews connects to Otten. And Manley with another break in this first half of the game, off to the races.
I want to just point something out here, Avril, if I can, because it's it's so common, and how Manley have dealt with it is pretty well done. As that deep throw has come up, they've all ended up on the near side of the field. And so what ends up happening is, if we can just pause it there, we end up with a situation where you can see now the stack is kind of... We'll come back to that. Trying to point out how Manley have set up here. Is they're creating space here on the outside of the field. So the stack is set up much like this. And now Manley are looking for something into this space over here. And they've done it really well. As they move the disc across the field, they end up creating the space.
So Umami, they now have to have another chance here on offense. Oh, and that one in and out of the hands of Kate Bailey. So Manley, another opportunity. And Morse goes quickly up to Otten as a nice gainer. Back to Morse. Open side looked over. There's a foul called, I think, on the mark. So Andrews to Richards, moves it quickly and keeps it nice and low in this wind.
Yeah, that's an enormous trouble. Augustin's got caught out exactly by how far Jeremy Wang has ended up the field. Trapping on the sideline here, Av.
Yeah, they've done well with the dump defense to cover Richards, so have to opt for a small reset. Oh, this one, speculative shot. Oh, almost there, but the disc bobbled out. So Umami do well with the defensive pressure to cover those dump options, squeezing it through to the sideline and forcing that high-risk around shot.
The wind is starting to have an effect here. It is gusted up. At first, it's created that really high attempted reset from a trap mark. And now Apple, going the other way, has just decided to huck it and play defense.
Yeah, Andrews now. Big shot goes up. Look, searching for... that one's going to go out the sideline. So just the conditions now a bit tough for both sides.
Okay, coffin corner. This is the toughest spot to bring the disc in. On the sideline, into the teeth of the breeze. And as well into the teeth of the defense.
Apple now. Big mark of Otten there, trying to narrow the channel. Joyce to Hodson. Back to Apple. So again, the handler's just working side to side here. Points. Finally gets a small gainer up to Chenuet. Chenuet goes a long option. Not sure how Byron got open. That one is an overthrow, but Bailey cleans up the scraps, and Umami, what felt like an unlikely score there. They eke one out to make it 4-5. Sorry, 3-5.
Yeah, 3-5. Works out as Byron, unmarked, blown coverage over the top. And I think the wind...
I think Andrews just gets a little greedy here. Just stays poached in that lane, trusting his teammates to cover that, but Got a little too greedy there to expose Byron, and Umami not being having to ask another time after they did manage to get it off that coffin corner.
Dave Andrews had his bluff called. Andrews said you won't. And then they did. Fair play. We move on. Umami now on defense.
It's a nice pull. Good float, good distance. Moss works with Leap. And again, Ramsden, that first undercut, so she's often starting in that central space, but this time Umami have put on a zone, so they've got 2 in the front wall, 3 in the second, and 2 deep. But the handlers make use of the space given here. Lee is at a standstill. Ramsden finally pops through the cup. Oh, that's a little too high for Bell. He does catch it, whether he was in or out. He's calling it in. Play on. Moss. Well done to get it to Lee. Moves it up to Morrissey. Finding the holes through this zone. Ramsden. Moss. She's got Chen. He tells her to go a little wider just to spread the defense. It's good communication there on field. Back to Moss. Gets Chen to move out of the way to open the space, but doesn't like those options. But a slices, a backhand through to Bell.
Yeah, good stuff by Manley. They just settle into that vertical stack, and then I think what Moss was talking about with Kayla Chan there is she was too close for the conditions. As the wind is picking up, it's hard to get the disc up and then down. He was looking, or his preference would have been to throw something that was higher release, bit floaty, because she's on the downwind side, rather than try a low release where the wind pushes it into the ground. So he wanted her to back up a little bit, so to make the throw a higher percentage. Ends up not mattering as, see, they work out of the vertical. Defender gets wrong side of the receiver. Dean Milne to pull again. He's pulled off some good ones so far. This one's going to be outside in. Uncomfortable to catch. Clean offense in the end for Umami. Relatively straightforward. A couple of times question Bethune's movement as he left his thrower high and dry. He just kind of stood there. It didn't make a move. He just expected the thrower to break the mark. A little bit of a tough ask. Might be something there for Manley. They can force that kind of situation again, because a less competent thrower or a less confident thrower might be more tempted to push something speculative into the face mark of Boone.
Offense. Easy, clean offense by Manley. Slicing through the slightly different Umami zone. 3 in the front this time, not enough to deter the handler movement.
Yeah, I'm going to go talk about the zone because they found a way through, but I think it was, at the end, it was Megan Lee who was really the difference between what the handlers were doing. So you can see here, like, the handlers are very far back, and whereas it's Lee who's up and in that cup. Now, the defenders around the disc are relatively close, so as the play develops, it creates angles through the cup to throw into. You can see both Moss and then Bell, as they get further up the field, that's when it creates some angles. Love what Megan Lee was doing there.
Yeah, and they had the handler set up behind. As you said, it's as they walk forward into the cup, they've got a bit of forward momentum, and they kind of put the cup defenders a little bit off balance, having to move backwards. So I like the strategy by Manley. Umami's turn to see what damage they can do on offense. Sleeth fills behind. So Manley also putting on a zone look of their own. Moves it through to Hodgson. A little one to Apple. Hodgson. Sleeth. They finally get one through the middle to Apple. Byron to Joyce. Sleeth. Made good ground. So Apple fakes across to Bethune, and an easy shot to Byron for the score.
You take the easy ones, the defense just at 6s and 7s, they didn't have the offense in any kind of position where they wanted them. It was broken field all the way in. They've got to find their matchups there. If you're going to transition, if you're going to poach, you still need to be accountable one-to-one. And I think that it just fell apart, to be honest with you. Not really much to say. As you can see, as the disc is going down the field, right, like, the players have to find. You have to match up. You have to point. You have to be vocal about who have I got. Because you can see, like, Bethune, and nobody's on Byron out here. He's all alone.
Yeah, I think the plan wasn't very clear. When were they going to transition? Was it going to be halfway? Was it going to be at the brick mark? Was there someone designated to call that transition? I think if they tidy that one up, then they'll be in a much better position to cause some wrinkles with the Umami offense, but that one got away from them. So Umami, a nice clean hold to settle things in. We're at 7-5. With Manley starting on offense this point, so they'll be hoping to take it to half relatively quickly. 32 minutes on the clock.
Beautiful pull by Marie Schmidt.
Yeah, Moss and Lee work together. So as you can see, Moss just sagging behind. A nice open under by Chan Ramsden. Female matching players getting to work. Richards involved. Perfectly timed cut here from Morrissey. Lee dances, jinks and jives and gets free. Now is a round break. It's a beautiful shot to Moss. Fakes along. Lee strikes up line. And swatted away by Marine Schmidt, who set up that fantastic defense with a great pull. Gets an outright block for efforts.
A huge opportunity for Umami in the state of the game right now. Down 7-5. They need this break.
Henderson in the corner, looking for Sanger deep, but in front is Richards. Immediately goes upfield to Moss. He points to the fat side, but Megan Lee does nicely to get open. An easy shot in the end. That is Donna Chen with the goal to take it to half. Manley 8-5.
I mean, Megan Lee, we highlighted her in the pregame. At the moment, she is like so reliable. She just gets to good spots, and you saw her there bossing the offense. Noel Moss has been quiet. But Megan, he hasn't needed to because Megan Lee has just been in everything, especially in that point. She was the linchpin that kept it all rolling. Come back, like, off the turn. See here, Moss, he looks downfield. There's not much in front of him. And so Lee comes back, and then the timing cut. That's perfect. Just as they drew it up. And much as we've been talking about, narrow lane, really only the 3 or 4 meters off the sideline that they're working through. So defenders needing to be aware of how the offenses are playing here at Beenleigh and what they need to do different, which is basically play closer.
I think the thing that stands out to me with the Manley offense is when they time their cuts. Like, they have so much trust that the previous throw is going to be a completion, that their cuts are turning precisely at the time that the throw is ready to throw. And the fact that they have so much trust in that team means that they can anticipate the movement. They're already in the space, and that's where their offense just looks so free-flowing. As you can see, a well-earned break here. Manley, Otten, Andrews.
Before we go to the break, I think we've got one of the D's queued up, and I've got my telestrator pencil ready. They finally gave me permission to draw on the screen. I love it. So the poach block, we just keep rolling it through, and I just want to highlight here, Dave Andrews, right, he's accountable. Maybe they shouldn't have given me the thing. He's accountable to this player. However, he's looking at this space, right? And so one, thinking that he has a receiver here free, makes the throw into the space. But because Andrews is kind of doing two things at once, as the play develops, jumps in front, easy block, and pretty much how you would want to have a poach block play out. You don't want to completely switch off and move away from your player. You still want to be a bit accountable, but you also want to play on that space.
So important as a defender to know when to head check, right? Know when to have a look back, see is the throw coming up or not, do I go or not, or do I stay close? That is a real art to playing Ultimate. But as we said, Manley, quite a dominant performance in the first half. 2 breaks up on Umami, 8-5. Make sure you stay tuned for the second half in this quarterfinal matchup. It's go hard or go home here at the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships Division 1. We are back in the second half in the quarterfinal matchup between Manley and Umami. Manley getting the better of the Canberrans 8-5 to start the half, and we started this game with quite stifling heat, having heat like surprise, but the sun has now settled behind some clouds with a nice cool breeze. So much more comfortable for the players as we see the stat line from the first half.
Yeah, the tail of the tape. 2 breaks for Manley. Turns for both teams, so opportunities. However, it was Manley who were able to take advantage those 2 times, and that is how they've ended up 8-5 up heading into the second half here, Avril.
It's a nice pull that lands in and pins Apple to the sideline. The big mark of Nat Otten ominous there. And they can smell an opportunity for a Callahan. Just some small ball to reset. Hodson just tries to amble through the cup. A few steps here by Bethune as well. And Hodson is available, but deterred there by move across to the far side. Just having to move side to side now. They sneak it out of the red zone, and they might have transitioned to a match here. 4 handlers back for Umami. So Manley still sticking with this zone. Apple just having to continue to work it side to side. The poppers are not active at all. So the Manley Cup not having to do too much readjustment here. Quite happy for Hodson just to get a little one inside.
At the moment, the handlers are very, very flat as well there. The disc is pretty much just going sideways without much forward momentum and not much opportunity to throw through the lines.
There's just no continuation after the handlers move it side to side. There's no poppers coming through. And because there's no poppers going through, there's no holes opening up to go a medium range option either. But there's a foul called on the mark here. So Bethune remains with the disc.
You don't mind this if you're Manly. You're happy them going side to side and throwing lots of passes. This is, at the moment, what the defense wants.
Byron now. Again, just side to side movement. You can see Nat Otten and Peter working really hard in that front wall. And good communication from the slide line as well, so they know the threats. Oh, and they don't manage to complete that one to Chen Roulette. So to Andrews, looking for his receiver, and that is complete to Sachin. And Manley get a break straight out of the half.
Yeah, that's incredible, and it's based on this Manly zone that is just, it's held them up enough that they've had to throw too many passes. And that's always the trade-off, right? Like zone is generally there's something open, forces lots of passes. As long as you can get through early, then you'll do okay. But if you're held up, if you have to go side to side a lot, then it just results in a situation where through broken field, Andrews just puts one up. Hodgson, huge bid to try and get the block. Ends in the score.
Yeah. Percentage play here, said a little bit windy, just adds that slight bit of doubt to the offense and just causing them to throw more passes. That percentage play, the more you make them throw, the more chance they have to turn it over. And Peter Andrews to Sachin do very well to convert that score. But can I just credit Nat Otten and Peter the two in the front wall did an immense amount of work. Also kudos to the team communication to make sure that they knew the next threat. They just coordinated so well in that front wall.
Nat Otten is a monster on defense there. She's putting in all of the hard runs to put some pressure on the mark, and it was effective.
Very similar defensive line as well coming out from Manley. And a nice float, lots of height on that disc. Hodson has to wait under it. So Otten again doing the hard yards on the mark. But Bethune gets a nice up line. Centres to Sleeth. Up to Joyce. So Sleeth has to hold it a little while. Byron. So Hodgson stayed on for this point. Same with Bethune. But same thing again. They're not really making too many gains in terms of meterage.
It's too much sideways at the moment and not enough upfield. The handlers, they're not getting up in the cup there. They're just kind of running sideways and trying to do something that way. It's limited of effectiveness at the moment as they're only at halfway.
And it's basically a zone in the front portion, and they've got match with the two deeps in the deep space. So they do make it up. Bethune telling the players to move to the middle of the field. Just resets a couple with Hodgson. So Manley still persisting with the zone look. Bethune on the close sideline sneaks one through to one. A sigh of relief for Umami.
It's hard going at the moment for them. And this is kind of where we start to see how different teams approach playing zone offense, playing against different zones, because often teams will bring zones that you haven't seen. And so you need some conceptual stuff to try and help you out. And so you see here at the moment, there's this big space in behind kind of the defenders immediately. So this is where you're aiming to get to, right? And generally speaking, the way you're going to get to that is either through someone coming into the cup or, alternatively, even better, one of these handlers kind of getting up in this space and then moving through the cup like this. So one of the two options, either way, at the moment, Umami struggling to find that option.
Yeah, that was a score, but not a convincing one at all. They had to work very hard to squeeze up the sideline. But sometimes you don't have to win convincingly, you just have to score the goal. They're still making progress on the scoreboard, so Manley up 9-6, 3 breaks at the moment. Umami defense just not looking at all likely of making any inroads to the Manley offense. Ramsden, who's been key, moves up to Moss. Fakes.
Morrissey got him. He got him with the end of the way. A nice move. And Moss has just thrown it to him.
Morrissey, he did the initial cut under. Moss fakes him off and goes long. Defender prioritised the under, but let loose on the deep. Very steady offense for Manley. So,
and on that cut, I don't think Joseph Morris is entirely serious about the under. He comes over and it's just a half-hearted cut. And you see Moss looking at him, and then because of the defender biting hard on that under, Morrissey just drives away, and Moss is always going to be able to make that throw. He's got a weapon on both sides. So, a bit of a gift, really. That takes us to 10-6. So far, Manley unbroken in this game through 16 points is pretty incredible.
and I think just the manner in the offense, it just doesn't look like Umami are making any inroads. Hodgson lets that one go to ground first. And Manley, again with their 2-3-2 zone. Oh, and a foul is called. So Hodgson, Bethune, Byron. A cheeky push pass, but Apple wasn't expecting it. So Milne goes a long option. In space. And Manley, yet another break.
And this zone is just creating no end of problems at the moment. Umami have nothing at the moment. They don't have a clear approach, and they're trying everything, including push passes and a bit of a predictable outcome, really. Milne picks it up and immediately reaching for Peter Ng. You see, like, at the moment, right, they're not sure what they're doing by the looks of it. It just, like, they're just trying to, they're moving the disc for the sake of moving the disc without any kind of actual intent behind, okay, here's what we're trying to create offensively to break down the zone. It's like they're throwing it side to side, just expecting the zone to break at some stage. And it seems very indeterminate, very murky. Whereas on offense, you need to be a bit more incisive, I think. You need to have a plan. You need to have an idea of, okay, this is how we're going to break it. And then put the pressure on. Because at the moment, they're just throwing lots of passes. And
meaningless passes, yeah.
And no one's perfect, right? Like, you can throw 99% passes. The next one's going to be a throwaway or a turnover.
I mean, it goes to show, right, Manley got away with a clean hold and then a break for the second point. And I think that psychologically has really snuffled out Umami's confidence. They just, their heads are low, their body language, shoulders are sagged. And they just don't have any answers to the questions. Like you say, just a lack of intent and lack of clarity about what their game plan is. They need someone to step up. They need someone to take charge and really give them that, that clarity of this is what we're going to do and we're just going to go at it. So that one, disc all the way in the car park, having to be retrieved. Bethune slowly walks it up. So it's an offside call. They're a little lax by the Manley defense. I think a bit too keen, trying to run it up from that pool chase. So again, this Manley zone, switch up the personnel. So Fang here, the mark. Otten getting a well-earned spell. They drive Apple backwards.
Yes, that's the pass there. And Apple needs to be turning upfield, not going sideways with this. They're going to get around the edge. However, the zone has already got containment back. So a little bit more aggression, I think, through the middle.
And the handlers are quite happy to hand back. So this is better. This is better here by Hodgson. He starts back and moves forward and manages to get around that first wall of defense. So Sleeth.
Better by Sleeth.
Yep,
you see pressing into the zone, finding a way through.
So Bethune and Hodgson together. So when the disc stops, that's when it gets, the going gets tough for Umami. Work it out to this side to one. Bethune spies Byron wide. Hodgson, a little 1-to-1. So Umami, a much better offensive set for this point.
And much more direct in that one, Avril. They're more towards the cup. They're getting in there and they're putting some pressure on the containment of the zone. And you saw great success. Bronte Sleeth, Apple as well as Hodgson. They're pressing up in the zone. And Bethune just hasn't got on the same page yet. Bethune's still going sideways with that pass and going nowhere fast. When they're stepping up and into the zone, that's when it's creating some opportunities for them on offense. It's a big throw across the field, but you can see now when Hodgson comes back through the middle, he finds that gap in that soft area in the zone. And well, that was good. Much, much better.
Must have been listening to you, Daniel.
Someone's listening to something, or they're pretty good ultimate frisbee players in their own right, and they've tried some things, and now they're just trying something different, noticing that there were some things that they've found hard.
So they're calling matchups here. Well, they're calling a structure here. It'll be interesting to see if they go for a match or a zone.
I think with the wind behind you, you need to come with some sort of zone. It's been really effective for Manley. I think Umami need to bring similar pressure.
But Lee unpressured on that first catch.
There's going to be match here.
Ramsden ever reliable in that under space. She's left all by herself until Richards comes all the way back. Moss strikes across. Bell. Moss makes a long cut, but spent it before she had it, Chen. It's an uncharacteristic drop by the Manly offense.
Golden opportunity for Umami, and no one you'd like better to be picking up the disc, Miriam Downey.
Slash across. Looks good from Patel. Oh, a nice inside, outside in shape. Sanger in the space. Sanger with the grab. Sanger with the goal.
Well, that was really important. Huge that they score that, because that is their first break of the game. It's come at 11-7 on the scoreboard. So making it 11-8, it just gives you that little bit of hope, that little breath of life, that perhaps you've still got a chance here and an opportunity. Or rather, was that an offensive hold in the end, where Umami have fought it? They must have been. Well, either way, 11-8, you need a break still. You need multiple breaks. Electing to go match, it works out in the end. Another D point for Umami.
So Marine Smith, who had a fantastic pull earlier to set up an opportunity, looking for another one here. As we said, uncharacteristic error there from the Manly O-line, but the same players go again now. Richards to Moss. Zone applied by Umami. Push Richards to this close sideline. Moss comes under.
Bell's gone.
Goes a big one. Way too much space out the back. Casual as you like for Bell. And there is a call. So
Conversations about the pick. I think Sasha Bell has kind of turned around and said, come on, brother. You're not in the same postcode as I'm going here. At least be the street over if you're going to call pick.
So it looks like Hodgson was
It'll come back. It'll come back.
Yeah.
In all fairness, it'll come back. Bell slapping and dabbing up Hodgson, who is well within his rights to call pick, as it looks like there was a player who got involved. So Moss going short.
Up to Ramsden all alone. Now the mark applied by Schmidt. Moss working hard, but tight defense. Ooh, squeezes a tiny reset between the two defenders, and Moss identifying a receiver in the end zone. That is the second score for Donna Chen to take it to 12-8.
Yeah, wow. By Noah Moss, that is a hard throw. There's no kind of angle there, and he somehow throws it outside in a way that slows through the air. It's top tier, absolute class for the young Manly star. And well, Manly, they go to 12-8.
Yeah, so heat break rules still applying despite it cooling down now.
Much more pleasant at the moment.
Yeah, this one was very close. Just snuck it between the two defenders' hands. And Moss just stands and waits for Donna Chen. What a way to stand up in a big quarter-final.
Yeah, it's huge. And I think the defense needs to realize here that the backhand is the throw. So you've got to play on the other side, actually, and force Moss up the line. Because that's going to create that opportunity where it's like the thrower has to throw forehand. Whereas Moss is able to drive the defender up the line slightly and then come back for the backhand, which is much higher percentage at such short range. So just small things like that defensively that Umami could, if they have the awareness, they can create some higher percentage chances of, a higher percentage chance of a turnover as opposed to a higher percentage chance of a completion for Manly. Understated. Noel Moss just some instructions to his team, discussing reset options. Offensively, what they want to do to set up.
Both teams very vocal there in their
And I think Manley should expect the zone from Umami here. And then it's upwind. Umami did go match. I think Umami, they need to throw something to give them some other option here. Because at the moment, Manley have only given up the one break. So you need more.
Yeah, I think the offense is looking a little more comfortable now. So it's time for the defense to get to work. Eke out those opportunities, maybe force Manley just to throw those small passes. I feel like just their continuation game, if they've closed down the huck, they get some nice handler movement and the connection with their downfield is just on song.
And Umami go back to their zone here.
Yeah, that two
He's
in
too
the front
flat
wall.
still. Thune needs to get up in the cup.
So Sanger and Sleeth this time working in the handler space. But again, just sideways passes. You can see the next player is so far away, so the handlers just don't have other options. And Otten gets in the way. That was just so predictable.
It's too slow by Bethune. He's on his heels. He needs to be more proactive in attacking the space. Going side to side, it just creates this, where there's turnovers.
Milne picks up. Open side to Otten. Richards jinx but clears. Oh, Milne, this one's dubious. There's a fair bit of contact. I mean, I don't think that disc was going in anywhere but to the ground.
Oh, that just went straight up in the air. Looks like Byron has swatted it away.
So retracted call, but just wanting to check a foot, fair enough. Look, I think the other thing, it's not just the handlers to blame, right? The fact that their poppers are so far away, this time Joyce recognises that and actually comes in through that cup to generate some movement. Make the defenders have to turn their heads and move side to side. But the handlers are left all alone in the desert. Other than Joyce, that's not enough.
I mean, Bethune's running the wrong direction. He needs to run like that. Get up in the cup, because at the moment, when you're going sideways, you're just having to throw more passes without going anywhere.
They make some ground now, as you said, running from the back forwards rather than side to side. And Byron is on the far side, finds Joyce. Centre field, Bethune fakes Sanger off. Sleeth is asking for it, but he goes instead to Byron. That one slips through the fingers.
Long way to go for Manley.
Not the best corner to bring the disc in. Milne marked by Byron.
Oh, get in. Get foot blocked. That'll help. That'll help Umami. They're going to get it in short field situation now. Not much you can do there if you're Dean Milne. Just kind of acknowledge the great play and play defense. Try and get it back.
Bethune picks up. They've set up a vertical stack. Swings to Sanger. Cross to Joyce. Sanger gets out of the space. Bethune comes back. It's just a small reset to Sanger. Sleeth works up line. Jinx changes her mind and goes behind. Squeezes it up to Joyce. Byron. And eventually an open player, but just a slight miscue. Chen not there.
And that's what you get when you make them earn it and you force them to throw lots of passes. Eventually, you know, there's a lot of running having been done to get to here. It's just tired now. And it's just that little bit too far out in front. You get the turnover, you get the disc back. So Manley, an excellent job on defense. They're holding up this Umami O-line.
So having to start from the least popular corner of the field. Oh, a nice low grab. Goes to ground. Jory dumps it back to Milne. Richards up line.
Milne's a bit uncomfortable to that forehand side, I think.
Milne around to Xiao. Richards is there. He does take the option. Manley just a bit hesitant, wary of the wind. Some of the throwers not quite as confident to pop it up.
Well, this is a high stall.
Oh, sneaks 1-3 to Sashin. Milne now. Oh, looks deep, throws deep, big backhand hook. And it's an awkward drop. Well read by Sanger, who slaps it to the ground with two hands. Bethune, Sanger, just 1-2, 1-2. And a travel's going to be called.
Fair enough. Sanger he just bobbled it a little bit, and that took him out of the flow.
So Bethune just waits on that close sideline. Sleeth wants to continue, but goes the open option in. Byron, that one, just a no-look pass, not on the same page.
Sashin is just doing a job on Bethune at the moment. Patrick Bethune is looking uncomfortable. You see there, he tries to make that up the line cut, but at the moment, this Manley defense is going toe-to-toe with the Umami defense, and neither offense is really finding the way through. A huge timeout call. A chance for a breather. Some 67 minutes into the game, and it's all happening.
Definitely feels like Manley have been very steady throughout most of this game, and that's a fantastic block there by Byron on Milne. Manley definitely have the advantage. Oh, it's a fantastic shot there by our camera operators.
This was that backhand huck that was read really well by Sanger. It was hard to kind of gauge what it was going to do as it hung up there a little bit, and then all of a sudden the disc turned over. It started to come down very quickly, so Sanger, best read out of the pack.
And I think it was good effort by Sleeth as well. The fact that her presence was there made Sashin actually go up early to try to go for it. So the fact that Sleeth's presence convinced him to go earlier than maybe he would have if she wasn't there, that's also a good defensive effort by Sleeth.
So we're expecting some heavy rain here. Forecast for thunderstorms from 3 p.m. and it is currently 3:08.
Just when we...
Any moment, because I feel the temperature dropping and the humidity seems to be changing as well.
I was thinking around lunchtime that we could knock off early and head to the beach, but I'm not sure that this is beach weather.
No. So at the moment, based on the Apple weather app, rain expected to start in roughly 22 minutes, and at 12:08, maybe we get there. Maybe we get the game done before the storm hits. Hopefully, because if there's lightning, we can't continue to play. We'll have to stop the game, and well, Umami being down these points, they need all the game time they can get.
They get 100 minutes of it. I don't think there's too many games that have gone to time cap this tournament so far. Most of them have been score capped at 15. Manley aren't far away from that magic number. Certainly with the way that they're playing. Wouldn't be surprised if we are wrapping up soon. But Umami have plenty to say about it.
Call me old and grumpy. I hate the horizontal off a sideline restart. It's just, there's so few options. You're never going to throw it down the field. And if you do, well, they don't really have much. You struggle to reset it. Unless you're throwing it to Nat Otten.
Beautifully done. Centres to Milne. And Otten in the space, in the score. You didn't like what you saw, but when you got Otten there, just throw it and she'll catch it.
Indeed, right? Like, you got good players. You can do whatever you want. The rules don't really apply to players like Nat Otten, who they just seem to transcend the rules that apply to mere mortals. Doesn't really matter. They just kind of, they end up with the frisbee.
I mean, that was a pretty unconventional throw by Xiao, right? Like, he had this very small channel here, elects for an outside in to the inside space. I mean, in the end, Otten made it look spectacular, but I think with most other receivers, it might have been a different end to that story. But, geez, their D-line have been a real feature, Manley. Just so much trust and all on the same page. And every time they get the possession, they just look like they're going to score, and it's inevitable.
Nice post route by Nat Otten up the field and then across. Sleeth did play well on the first, but then it was the second move that ended up opening the space for Milne to throw into.
So
An
Xiao,
upwind 0 point now for Umami, Haverhill.
yeah, these upwind scores proving to be very valuable. Oh, there's float on that one, but Bethune does track it down. Apple. Bethune, they're now just outside their defending end zone. Stall count rising, Sanger behind. So Bethune and Sanger work it out, but there's no one else around in support. So, oh, that was just in and out, but a foul called on the throw.
And a hug. So that movement there by Bethune, it's the wrong direction. He's running backwards. He needs to go up the field, understand that coming behind the other point isn't what he needs to do. He needs to stay on the point's other shoulder to try and give it. There you go. That's better.
Byron now across. Oh, very close bid there by Xiao. But Sanger, Bethune continue working it out. Apple on the far side. You can see the overloading that dump, forcing it to go forward, but Byron's found a good spot. Apple motoring up line. How did she get free? Umami snag one back.
Well, that's the rewards for not just blindly going side to side. To have some intent, and Lila Apple just heads to the end zone, and Justin Byron, after receiving a pass around the outside edge of the zone, finds the continuation.
I think that was that awkward spot. It felt like this probably should have been the point where Manley transitioned to match, but because they moved it up quite quickly here, they just didn't recognise the threat and how close that end zone was. So again, a bit more clarity on those transitions here might have caused more headaches for Umami, but either way, it's their defense that really needs to get to work to peg a break back. Manley with bringing full of confidence. Noah Moss on the line, Megan Lee, Kayla Chan, and the goal scorer in Donna Chen as well.
Turn.
Oh,
Morrissey knows it too. It's hit him in the leg on the fall.
that's a real let off. I mean, this is the opportunity that Umami have to take. Gifted.
I mean, we've all been there, right?
It's tit for tat, right? There was an early drop pull by Umami, and this time by Manley.
It's a mistake by a young player. It happens. Well, the force is the wrong way right now.
Downey, open side.
The force is completely backwards. Mistakes for Manley. It's cost them.
So Umami in high spirits now. They do finally peg a second break back. The margin slimmed down to 13-10. And is this the turning point? Crucial part of this game.
So the rules are, you got to let it hit the ground first. Morrissey neglecting that part. It hit him on the shin, and he kind of looked up, knew what had happened.
Maybe he's trying to kind of stop the roll, but just misjudged where it was going to land.
Yeah, he was trying to stop the roll, completely misjudged it.
I'm not sure the defense set up. They had plenty of time to work it out, but again, just a small miscommunication. I mean, hasn't proved costly given that they're so far up the lead, but when you're heading to the semi-finals and the medal matches, you cannot let those miscommunication errors seep into your game. So Manley O-line, a couple of chinks in the armour now. Can Umami expose them? Chen to pick up. Lee.
Oh dear. Morrissey's all kinds of free.
She doesn't see him. So just goes a small one to Richards. And now an undercut by Bell. Morrissey comes under. Not much on offer. Richard tries an open side, but Hodgson hot on his heels. And just a high stall attempt. Chan somehow makes something from nothing.
Morrissey looking absolutely sheepish. The stall 9 throw. He's put it up, and Kayla Jan has read it the best. Knowing the situation. It's great game sense there. Credit to Morrissey. Sometimes you see the thrower go a little bit wild in the high stall situation. This was 9.5. Decides not to go to Richards, who might have worked, and just floats it up there. He's done really well.
Nice touch on that lefty backhand. Uses a slight downwind direction as well. Just a high release. Makes it work. But you see the intense defense here by Hodgson, who draws the matchup on Richards. And I think the Umami defenders thought they'd have the job done, but didn't hold their position for the full stall count.
You can see the clouds in the distance there. It's getting a bit dark and ominous on the horizon. And dark and ominous for Umami as well. They are 1 point away from being knocked out. Manly mixed, 1 point away from a semi-final berth.
And they're out to try and break to take this win to get into the semis. Got Nat Otten out again.
Manly mixed going back to the zone that's created so many issues for Umami.
Yeah, so Huang and Ng making a 3-person cup here at the front. Sleeth with the disc. Bethune back in support, but she elects to throw to Apple. Handers just work it side to side.
Better by Bethune.
Yeah, he's getting into that space, striking up into the cup, but the continuation is not on, so not able to take advantage. Byron now comes to the far side.
Yeah, much better by Bethune.
Oh, now they find the gap, so Sanger, Bethune. Travel cord comes back.
Can't run with it, buddy. It's not rugby.
Oh, great grab by Apple to maintain possession. Bethune. Sanger positions well on the wide, but there we have Byron popping through. And Joyce to Sanger to Apple. On the doorstep to Joyce.
And you can see the effect. Umami's starting to puzzle it out now. And as I was saying, that movement up into the cup is what's creating options and putting pressure on the containment. Much better by Patrick Bethune. Being a leader, getting his head around what he needs to do here. And it's be more direct, be more aggressive. Get up in the zone. Stop going sideways quite so much. You can't throw that many passes in weather like this.
And I think players like Joyce and Sleeth, who started downfield, they're starting to connect as well. So when Bethune does come up into the cup, spectacular grab by Apple there to save possession. But when Bethune comes up into the cup, they're positioned well for that next pass, so they can actually take advantage of it. It's when there's no connection to that downfield is when they have to move side to side, and it doesn't look as smooth. So Manly, game point, starting on offense now.
And downwind, probably the best opportunity they'll get this side of another 2 points. Don't want to give up too many, because momentum is definitely a thing in Ultimate.
It's a good looking pull. Will it land in? Just out of bounds. So Moss will get to take it from the brick mark. Not what Umami fans wanted.
Wonder how important that'll be, given that this is game point. Noel Moss from the brick mark is a different proposition compared to Noel Moss from back of his own end zone.
And they're set up in a match. It's horizontal
Oh,
and immediately looks long to Bell. He's got the height, got the hops, and it goes upstairs. Manley are in the semi-finals.
Yeah, that's not good. That's bad. Oh, what? He's gone up big, has Sasha Bell. A humongous grab, and yeah, it turned out to be critical that the pull out on the full has put Noah Moss on the brick mark. And Noah Moss has said, wham bam, thank you ma'am. We're sending this one to the end zone. What a play.
One throw score to finish off that quarterfinal matchup. Manley, we did tip them as the favourites coming into this game, and they have shown their class. Their offense just smooth as you like, with Moss leading the charge.
Huge, huge grab. Absolutely enormous. Bell goes up so early. So in the end, a pretty clean game for Manley. 4 breaks, only 7 turns, 10 clean holds. It was comprehensive. Umami only managing the 1 break, so it was always going to be a tough ask when you can't punch it in on D. And Noah Moss, 1 goal, 4 assists in the end. He was, I was going to say he was quiet, but he wasn't that quiet in the end, was he? He just kind of maybe quietly went about his business. Well, and here's the play. I'd love to talk you through this play, right? Because Noah Moss understands the situation. He knows that if he just puts this in the air a little bit, Bell has a little bit of height, so up high, up early, over the top. That's a roofing.
And so Manley make it through to the semi-final. They will play the winner of Wollongong Crank versus Chili Chimichanga. Can't wait to bring you more action. Tomorrow is day 3, semi-final and medal matches on Ulti TV stream. This event brought to you by City of Logan in the beautiful Beenleigh, Queensland. As we hide away to escape this storm. Storms are brewing, coming into the point of the tournament. What a way to end day 2 at the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships. This is Avril Tam and Daniel Clinton signing out.
Ulti.tv